Running backs, my main riser, as Pilch mentioned, as the passing offense goes down for the Dallas Cowboys, something's got to go up. So I've got Zeke. He was actually my number 31 going into the week, and he had a bit of a blinder here, can't even lie. Their O line looks like it's back to their best, and when he's going to get the majority of snaps, he's going to score well just because the yards per carry is going to be good. He's getting red zone stuff. The game scripts really suited him on Monday night, and it probably will continue to if Dallas keep playing this well. He had 6 red zone carries and 3 red zone targets, which is pretty amazing for a running back. My other riser is Najee Harris, Pilcher's man, number item at number 14 moving into the week. And I'll be honest, I actually hate this thing about fantasy because it's disgraceful what he put up on the weekend. But he had 4 red zone targets, so you can't really deny that. He had 20 targets in general, which is just outrageous. And he's not going to be averaging that every week because, like, Deontay was out, Juju went out at halftime, and yeah, like their offense isn't firing well, so I don't think he's going to get that much every week. But his yards per carry was a concern, but realistically, it can't get any worse than it already is. So yeah, I can't see why he's not going to be a top 10 finisher at the end of the season with that sort of usage, which I hate to see because he had pretty much no impact on the game. But anyways, that's more of an issue with the whole system, so I won't blame the player. And then my faller before we get to you boys is Josh Jacobs. He was already down at like number 27 for me, but he's still rostered in quite a lot of leagues. So Peyton Barber stepped in during his absence and tore it up. He had 6 red zone attempts, and like I think he was in the top 5 running backs for the week or something like that. I think when Jacobs will return, he'll obviously be the number 1 back, but now you've got Drake, you've got Barber. I just don't think he's really a starter now, and I would definitely be trying to offload him. He's still got some name value, I'd say. So yeah, for me, he's a no-go, Josh Jacobs at the moment. Kurt, who are your running back rises and falls?
I got a couple rises. First one for me is got to be Robinson, who I was talking about before. For me, he had lost a tiny bit of value in the first couple of weeks, just given I thought they were going to throw it a lot more, given obviously they spent their first draft pick on Trevor Lawrence and they've got a reasonable quartet of receivers. But yeah, it seems to be pretty obvious that they're going to start giving it to J Rob, both in the passing and running game. He seems to have pushed out Hyde a bit, which is kind of what was expected to happen as the season went on, given J Rob seems to be pretty elite and Hyde's just kind of your steadfast running back that seems to go from team to team in the league. Um, so I think he's got some serious upside relative to his first 2 weeks, and I think he showed that in um, his third week performance. Um, I also have D Swift for myself in the rises. Wasn't high on the man at the start of the season, as you boys would know. In fact, was ripping people for drafting him early. But I have to admit I was wrong. Apologies to whoever I ripped as well. The man looks elite. He doesn't necessarily have the run game volume that you would like, but he seems to be an elite pass catcher. And he's getting tons of volume in that regard, which obviously stacks up points on the PPR leagues for running backs. So he's certainly shifted into my top 10. I'm not sure he's going to be maybe a top 5. I think he might plateau a bit in terms of his output, but yeah, I certainly think he's going to be a top 10. So definite riser for me relative to the start of the season. In terms of fallers, there's a couple. Got myself Gibson. I think there needs to be a bit of a worry around Gibson and his performances. His performances were thought to be, his hype this last season was thought to be an increase in volume, similar to kind of CMC numbers, which is what I was reading yesterday. But doesn't seem to be the case. They seem to love McKissick, so McKissick seems to get a lot of those short runs, and he actually takes a lot of the red zone runs as well, which is a big concern for Gibson because you want those TDs for your PPR running backs. So I'm certainly not saying he's like 20th or something, but I just don't think he's going to be top 10 like he was projected at the start of the season. And another one in terms of the fallers is got to be Damien Harris as well. He looked pretty elite that first week with a 100-yard performance. But yeah, I think that excitement has kind of rubbed off. So yeah, I think he's a fall up, but I'm not saying don't think he's going to be outside maybe top 25. I think he can still push the top 25.
Yeah, Damien Harris is like the most vanilla fantasy player, I reckon, because he's just got like no pass catching. Like even when James White got injured on the weekend, apparently they went to like JJ Taylor and some other bloke for the catching stuff. I think Antonio Gibson's a weird one. I feel like there's a strong correlation between his performance and the defense's performance, because at the moment their defense is playing like shit, which no one was expecting. And I feel like he needs the defense to play well to keep the games tight, so they run the ball more. But yeah, at the moment they're going down pretty early, and they just give McKissick all the footy because he is a bit of a weapon. Pilch, your rises and falls, mate?
Yep. Chase Young, 0 sacks so far this season. So hopefully he's a bust. But my rises, James Robinson, as Kurt said, just looks like an absolute beast, and the role's getting better every week. So certainly him. And then I've got Zach Moss as well. 0 didn't play the first week, but now he looks like he's the man in the Buffalo backfield. So I think he's got a bit of value. Yeah. And fallers, I've just got Joe Mixon, partly because I was very high on him coming into the week and only one catch this week. And obviously a poor O-line. So it's kind of like Najee Harris, but looks like he's going to be copping less passing work. So going to have to drop him down my rankings.
Yeah, I feel like compared to Najee Harris, I think the Cincinnati offense is better than that Pittsburgh. So I feel like when things are going well, they won't require Mixon's checkdowns, where at the moment Big Ben he's only really good enough to hit Najee Harris about 3 yards away. So yeah, sadly for Mixon. I'll be honest, I have not really paid attention to Mixon because he's in a bit of a locked situation now, league. Bit of a confusing explanation, but he doesn't have much relevance to us. But yeah, Zach Moss, an interesting one. We all sort of expected this last year, didn't we? But Singletary sort of held his own last year, and now he's taken over, and we love to see it from Zachariah Moss.
It's a miracle! Oh, yeah! What about that one? Unbelievable! Balotelli, Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle.